You hear a rustling outside. Not again, you say to yourself as you go to the window to find out where the noise is coming from. You've been trying to get the city wildlife to leave your garbage alone. When you look outside, you see a flash of white-gray fur and a fleshy tail, an opossum. But before you call pest control, I want to tell you about the benefits of North America's only marsupial, the opossum, and how it's best for your pets and our environment if you leave them be. They aren't pests. In fact, they're built-in pest control. Perhaps we were all raised to think that animals foraging through our trash are annoying, dirty pests, but that's not the case with the opossum. And I believe they're misunderstood by the majority of Americans. So I'm here to help you understand the benefits of these great garbage creatures. These great little creatures, although a bit ugly sometimes, are actually beneficial to our ecosystem as well as the health of ourselves and our pets. And here's how. Opossums eat garbage, dead animals, and bugs, including ticks, which helps to curtail the spread of Lyme disease among humans and pets. They also have a very, very low chance of carrying rabies because of their body temperature, and they're not aggressive. They even play dead when they feel threatened. And finally, opossums are extremely clean. They clean themselves habitually, just like cats do, and will not destroy your home like other urban wildlife. All right, let's get into the garbage with these cuties and talk about how we should respect them and not kill them. So, Lyme disease affects about 300,000 Northeasterners every year. It's spread by the Borrelia bacterium, which is spread by ticks. The symptoms of Lyme disease include memory problems, tiredness, loss of mobility of the face, joint pain, severe headaches, heart palpitations, etc. How does the opossum factor into this? Rick Ostfield, an author of a book on Lyme disease and a senior scientist at the Carey Institute of Ecosystem Studies, explains that because many ticks try to feed on the opossums, few will actually survive this experience. Opossums are great groomers, so they kill the vast majority of the ticks that are on them, about 95%. So these opossums are walking around the forest floor, hoovering up ticks left and right, killing over 90% of these things. So they are really protecting our health. The Fur Bearer Conservation Project, which describes itself as an advocacy website, resource, and think tank engaged in the discussion of sustainable use and management of natural resources, explains that possums are highly adaptable foragers, and they take advantage of whatever seems to be available to eat. They've been called nature's cleanup crew because they eat things that other animals might find less appetizing. Opossums eat cockroaches, mice, dead animals, including their skeletal remains, slugs, decaying fruits and vegetables, and even venomous snakes. This is because opossums are resistant to snake venom. This is beneficial when it comes to your pets because mice carry fleas, ticks, and other diseases, and no one wants snakes around their cats or dogs. So, opossums are great for our environment, but what about our interaction with them? Do they pose any dangers to humans? The answer is no. The Fur Bearer Conservation Project states that opossums are one of only a few mammalian species that are less likely to contract the rabies virus. Only about 1 in 800 usually contract the disease. This is due to their low body temperature. The chances of an opossum attacking a human are almost non-existent because of their avoidant behaviors. The National Wildlife Federation, which is the United States' largest private nonprofit conservation, education, and advocacy organization, explains that when opossums are frightened or harmed, they suddenly freeze, lie still, and play dead. This is where the phrase playing possum comes from. The Federation says that this trait is said to have evolved because almost any predator can outrun a possum, so playing dead, they won't get eaten. In addition to freezing, they emit a foul odor from their anal glands, which helps distill a diseased and undesirable meal for any would-be predators. So this isn't a voluntary reaction, and they will come out of it in about 1 to 4 hours. So they're nighttime creatures who are nomadic and prefer to be left alone. So if you see them and accidentally scare one, don't worry, it will be okay. Leave them be. They might hiss at you and open their mouths, but they're never going to attack you. Even though opossums look hideous, comical, grotesque, even dirty, they are some of the cleanest urban-dwelling animals around. Cornell University's College of Veterinary Medicine talks about how clean the opossum is. They say, despite their often raggedy appearances is due to the fluffy gray fur protecting the thick white cotton-like fur underneath, they groom themselves regularly, bordering on obsessively, as much as a house cat. This obsessive cleaning is also why they are a natural component in the fight against Lyme disease, as I mentioned earlier. A Toronto-based psychologist and biologist, Suzanne McDonald, who has spent years observing Toronto's raccoons, if you know, you know, says the opossum is probably the most harmless, helpful urban creature of them all. They don't chew or dig. This means they will not destroy your home like some other urban animals like raccoons, rats, or squirrels. They use dens created by other animals instead of burrowing on their own. So if you see an opossum, know that it will not be chewing on your electrical wires or destroying your insulation. If you see one that has a nice little den for itself, leave it be, especially in the winter because they're susceptible to frostbite, so make sure they're nice and warm. I hope after this discussion, you will view North America's only marsupial as a friend and not an enemy. And although they are hideous, they are beneficial to our ecosystem. First, I told you about how opossums help curtail the spread of Lyme disease and how they are nature's literal garbage man. Then I explained how they are among the safer, less chaotic urban dwellers to share a space with. And finally, I told you how clean they actually are, like a house cat. These hilarious looking grotesque beasts are our friends. And since spring has sprung, that means it's joey season. Yes, they're called joeys just like baby kangaroos. Gestation is about 10 to 14 days, and then the young crawl to the pouch where they will spend about 2 months nursing. Soon the joeys will be clinging to their mother's back as she forages for food. If you see a joey on its own, be sure not to touch it. The mother should return. However, if she is not around, you can take the joey to the Philadelphia Metro Wildlife Center or the Schuylkill Center of Wildlife Clinic. Be sure that the baby is under 9 inches, not including the tail. This will make sure it's a baby and not a young adult. In Philly, we respect our garbage men, and that includes possums. So, possum is our friend and not our enemy. Thank you.